Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we will go more into the ear training side also of different three-note structures, triads, and this will be actually like a ear training lesson about progressions, chord progressions. So we want to get better at understanding the different chord progressions by ear. And it's I like this exercise actually a lot because it opens kind of a door to music directly. It goes really into the music, and and I want to share with you this exercise. And so it's about triads. It's actually about the traditional triads: major, minor, diminished, and augmented. But we can also have some little extras, like triads, which are really let's say necessary for other like situations where these four triads are not working. For example, the sus triad, where we have like the perfect fourth instead of the major third. Then we also what's also important actually is the dominant seventh chord without the fifth. That's also an important triad, very often used by Johann Sebastian Bach, for example. And actually this exercise, what we are doing, is really connected to this kind of approach or music of Johann Sebastian Bach. I mean, especially the solo pieces, like for violin or cello, where you have like a sort of melodic line which really clearly outlines the basic chords, and also adds some passing tones and whatever. I mean, of course it's also a bit more than just that, but basically the tonal material is taken is to a large percentage is just chord tones. And mostly also like triads, like really we really go into the triads, and when we do that, and what we will do here in this lesson, we will take actually like a jazz standard, like a very commonly typical played jazz standard, and a jazz standard is of course really dealing with at least with four-part structures. So at least there are seventh chords. Yeah, you have almost a seventh on every chord, and then you also like typically in jazz you add all these tensions to really have the that sound, the jazz sound, these chords. Yeah, you can't have triads, but you really can reduce every jazz standard to its triads, and what you will come up with then is really like the basic skeleton of that piece, because just having these basic triads is actually the basis of all these more elaborated, more advanced chords. Yeah, all these different kinds of structures. It comes down actually really to triads, and that's also, for example, I think Pat Metheny also. I don't know where I got that from, but he is really like thinking like a lot like triads. Yeah? You hear and see that in all kinds of different aspects of his like warming up. What he's doing, there's this book, warming up, or like guitar exercises it's called, I think, and his solos. There's so much about triad, and I think mainly also I'm sure that he also takes these triad notes, even if he plays jazz, as the basic core pillars of the whole thing, because they are, I mean, a seventh is only sounding as a seventh and giving tension in relation to the basic triads. So we should more, in a way, respect these basic little chords, which seem to be so normal and like triads. What is a triad? I mean, it's just a normal thing. What can I do with that? What can I add? You know, what these questions. But triads have so much beauty, and especially in chord progression. Yeah, so that's also the topic we are dealing today. When I just play triads and I take let's take another. Let's take maybe. Let's take that song which we're dealing with. It's a famous jazz standard, and you on the page you see all these chord symbols, like the seventh chords, which how it's typically written and played in jazz. Not adding much more like tensions, although some tensions are really required at certain spots here. But it's just the seventh chords. So if you give just the seventh chords symbols to a jazz musician, he will be happy, and he will just add his extensions, nines and 11s and 13s by him or herself. When you just give him triads, he really first he will ask, do you really mean that, and what do you mean by just the major triad? Is it a dominant chord, or is it like a kind of a tonic function chord? Is it major 7 or 6? You know, that, like, all these questions will arise immediately. So he will not be satisfied, or she will not be satisfied with just these triads. There will be like a lot of question marks you will see in his or her eyes. So it's like, in a way, it seems very disconnected having triads in the context of jazz, but basically the foundation, the core pillars, even in the most advanced jazz standard, are these triads. And when you are reducing a jazz standard, a jazz progression to its plain triads, you immediately you will more see also the connection to like this whole European classical music, the basic, also the theory and then it's really connected with also folk songs, or like in a way like these triads are the building blocks of harmony. Yeah, in Western music, in European classical music, these are the building blocks. And then from that, it goes into all kinds of different styles: expressionism, impressionism, romantic music period of classical music, into jazz, into pop, into folk songs, wherever. And they all use their own kind of symbols and abbreviations of chords, and their own extensions, and what they do with these chords to create their styles, their music, their musical world. But basically, it's all when you analyze that, you can reduce everything to just plain triads. Even the other way around, you know, if you have a punk tune and it's just power chords moving there, just perfect fifths, even then you can look for, okay, what will be the basic triad? What is the natural triad there? What is the other chords around that, or the other power chords around it? So what kind of a minor or major feel is created when you play that certain power chord? So everything can be just reduced or extended to the basic triads. So these triads are really the building blocks of harmony, of progressions. Interestingly, also these triads, these 4 triads, major, minor, diminished, augmented, are the only ways how to divide an octave into three parts, with avoiding any kind of a second, like a major second or a minor second. Yeah, so you just have these possibilities, just these triads and inversions, of course. So if you have a C and an octave C, and you want to put 3 different notes inside this octave, and but avoiding seconds, which are scales then, yeah, and which also create tensions in a way that one of the notes will try to rule the whole thing here. We talked about that in other lessons, also about the tonal framework, so I will not go into that. But interestingly, there are only these four you come up with only these 4 triads if you divide the octave into 3 parts. And you have you can also say you have the consonant triads, which have a perfect fifth, and you have the dissonant triads, which have either a diminished fifth or an augmented fifth. But that's clear. That's basic theory. On the guitar, I'm actually really busy with different 3-note structures. Yeah, there's also this course on 3-note structures where I found like there are just 19 different possible 3-note structures, so 19 different possibilities of 3 different notes. And yeah, so I have a kind of a systematic order. I put them together in families, and it sounds funny actually. But so I'm really busy with them, and I sing on the guitar. Yeah, we are with the Guitar Academia here. On guitar, these triads are actually the best harmonic sounds you can create on the guitar, due to the sound of the guitar. That if you have more than 3 notes, it becomes more like not so clear anymore with the sound. That's one thing. Of course, it depends on the sound of your guitar. I mean, what kind of sound you have, what kind of a guitar. It can be really great with 4-note structures, and we also talked about that. 43 different 4-note structures, and we really got into that also. It's also very important on the guitar, of course. But 3-note structures, they have a more transparent sound mostly on the guitar. And also you make sure that you have one finger free, so you're not so locked in these structures, so you can more easily get into voice leading and more like a polyphonic approach. Yeah, where you also you can sync better, like more voices at the same time, because every note is also at the same time in a triad. A 3-note structure is a separate melodic note, which can progress in its own ways. Yeah, and by the way, when I say triad, I mean just the basic normal major, minor, diminished, augmented, these 4 triads. And when I say 3-note structure, I mean like all possibilities of just any 3 different notes. So just I mean, we talked about that also, but just in general, I think 3-note structures are really the thing, the harmonic structure on the guitar. Yeah, from that you can expand or you can reduce, but you can take these 3-note structures as really learning your fretboard, understanding harmony, having voice leading and everything. So this really works. I think 3-note structures work best when it comes to harmonic structures on the guitar. Okay, yeah, so it's different with a normal like classical theory with four always have this four part structure. You always try to, if you have a progression and you do like music harmony theory and classical music theory, then you always think about 4 part structures, and that makes perfect sense. It's all cool. And like in a choir, you have four different voices, and so on. String quartet and yeah, like whole symphonies with the orchestra. You can just often reduce to this four part. In German, it's called vierstimmiger Satz. So it's like these four different voices, four chords which always consist of four parts, and then you think about voice leading, how you progress from one to the next. When we deal with harmony, yeah, we can also use like variations of these basic four triads, and this also gives us a possibility to also include other triads into our practice of harmonic progressions, because we know, okay, also this triad can be used instead of just a normal stacking up thirds triad. And also there are some occasions where we actually really have to alter a triad to make it work in place of another chord. For example, if we have a sus4 chord, we would not sing or play a major or minor triad. We would play a sus4 structure. So we have like from C it's just C, F, G, yeah. And also we have this dominant, as I told you already. We have the dominant seventh chord where we omit the fifth. This is also kind of a triad, yeah. Like when you have like a C7 chord, we don't use the fifth, so we have just this chord we can also analyze. I mean, there is like a triad. There is a name for that chord. When we can say, okay, it's the notes would be the same as if we have like a B flat double diminished triad. A double diminished triad is a diminished triad where the minor third is diminished. Yeah, so it's also altered one step lower, one more step lower. So the minor third from B flat gets to D double flat actually, and then so you have B flat, D double flat, F flat. Yeah, so it comes from diminished and double diminished. We had this in Holland actually. When I studied in Rotterdam, there were these dubbel vermindert and hard vermindert. And hard vermindert we call like hard diminished, and that is. Do we use that actually? Yeah, of course. We use that in the when we sing. So like dubbel vermindert and hard vermindert. and this hard vermindert is like hard diminished. Hard diminished we can use also, yeah, if we want to also incorporate this thing in our practice now. Then we can, for example, we can use it in where you have these augmented six chords. And we talked about that in a different course, and it's about actually you what you have. For example, you have a you have to check out this lesson. But basically, hard diminished means it's a major triad with a diminished fifth. So you have a major third and a diminished fifth, and this chord functions as an augmented sixth chord because, for example, when I have this chord from let's say from what is here on the page. If we have a C major triad, C, E, G, and we diminish the fifth, then we have a G flat. And this chord is also functioning, for example, as a tritone substitution. Yeah, it's a G flat seventh chord with this diminished fifth here. So it works actually in the context of so this Augmented Six wants to resolve. But please check out this Augmented Six lesson. We had that on the major tonality when we took this more linear approach, and also on the minor tonality. We explained this whole thing. So you have actually like two lessons. One is in E minor, one is in E major, and we talk about like in each of these lessons we talk about a specific augmented sixth chord there. Okay, so basically it's just the idea to incorporate or to include also other three-note structures to have a more richer vocabulary we deal with in kind of like traditional harmony, like in also when we practice like just normal, let's say normal chord progressions. So we alter our triads, our basic triads, four triads in certain ways to get more sounds and to be able to also have different voice leading and sing different combinations of notes and yeah, to enrich also our vocabulary. All right, so now long talk. We go into the actual exercise now. So you have this, you have the jazz standard progression on the PDF, and if I didn't tell you already, the PDF you find down in the description below. There's a link where you can get that PDF, and I recommend that you download that because you will see all this thing. You can more easily follow now this lesson, but also it supports this channel, so would be a great thing to do. Thanks. All right. So we have this, the chords are written there, just the seventh chords, and we reduce them all to the basic triads. And sometimes we also applied like these other versions of the triads. Okay, what we will do, you have this one page, there you have like four different melodic shapes, okay? You have either root position, maybe we do this also from C now, just that you have this page there and that we just go through that. Same notes. So you can have like a root position, you have C, E, G, E, C, yeah, just that. There's another pattern which you can use, it's like C, E, G, C, G, E, C. This one I've written down there because I use this pattern when I do like also combinations with seventh chords, so with four note structures. Then it's good to have a kind of four note structure pattern there. But yeah, whatever. You can also use that here in this practice where we not go into the seventh chords, four part structures. Okay, and then you have the different inversions, okay? So instead of starting from C, you can E, G, C, E, G, C, G, E. Or you start from G, G, C, E, C, G. Yeah, so these patterns you have. But these are just the basic patterns. You will see that we will more and more alter these patterns as we go on here. So what we do now, we take this chord progression and we start with the first chord, with the first triad there. And we just pick a triad note, which whatever we like, we have an E diminished triad, and we can start from E, from B flat, or from G. So we have three triad notes. Just let's take the root now. We have the E. And what we do, we just sing pattern one, yeah? Just the basic triad, up and down. E, G, B flat, G, E. by the way, I'm singing on the note names, and normally I sing on the German note names because in the German language, all the notes, also the F sharp and G flat, A flat, they just have one syllable. Yeah? In English language, you always have two syllables for these notes which have like sharps and flats. So in German, it would be Ich gebe es, and I also say Bess is coming from the Dutch language. So, but that's another story. I mean, we will not go into that. It's just I use Bess instead of B in Germany and B instead of H in German. But that's maybe just a side information. Okay. Now, when we sung that arpeggio, we can also play it in unison with singing. It's also possible. We can just, or we can also always play it a little later. That's maybe recommended actually to just always check and also play. So E, G, B flat, G, E. Now, what we're doing now, we go to the next chord, which is A, an A major triad, and instead of going A, C sharp, E, C sharp, A, D, D, F, A, F, D, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, G, B flat, D, B flat, G, C, E, G. So to go through the chord progression always in root position, jumping around. This is one chord, this is the next chord, this is the next chord. We go into voice leading here. And voice leading we don't take like very strict. We just think about we want to go to another like close position triad. Yeah, we came from that, and we want to go to another close position triad, which is kind of near that one. And by doing that, for example, for A, for the next chord, we could go here, or we could go. Yeah, so we also practice all these inversions and root positions in a musical way. In this exercise, it's a very cool exercise actually. And by going through to the next possibility, to the nearest next close position triad, we also have kind of voice leading happening. Okay? So you see from that, for example, when I go from here to here, I have this thing here. Or when I go the other way, I have a common note here. It's in both chords, and the G goes just up one step, one whole step, for example. That's voice leading. Yeah, how actually every like E or E C sharp or G A or G E or B flat C sharp or B flat A. That's voice leading. How you would lead a choir, these individual voices through the progression. Okay? Now, we don't take that like very strict. We don't take it like oh, we have to the major third of the dominant chord has to go up to the next root. No, we just try to find like musical ways where we just try to go smaller steps. And also we are dealing with 3-part structures all the time, so like a very strict voice leading would not be always possible. Yes, and we want always we keep these close position triads. That's always our building blocks, and we always have just 3 versions, and we connect these in a musical way with each other. Yeah, going smaller distances. That's all we need for our rules. So no more theory is necessary here. Let's go into the progression and do it. Okay? So we start with our E diminished. E, G, B flat, G, E. And now we go to A major triad. And I stick here to that position. I mean to that close position chord. So E, A, C sharp, A, E. Now I go to this D minor. D, A, D, sorry. F, A, D, A, F. D major, F sharp, A, D, A, F sharp. G minor, G, B flat, D, B flat, G. And try to, when you sing these arpeggios, try to pre-hear, pre-listen inside your mind the note before you sing it. Get a kind of a clear picture of what note you are, to which note you are going to. You can easily try to go for a picture in the sense that you have a picture of the kind of mental feeling image of the next sound of the next chord, of the complete chord, like A major, this is the sound. But you can also go just by intervals, yeah? So you think, okay, when I'm on G, and I played this D major before, F sharp A, D, D, A, F sharp A, D, A, F sharp, and then I go to G, a minor second, up to G, and then I have a minor third, and by then I might just get my D by itself because I'm so much already in the tonality, and I know my minor triad, how the arpeggio is going. But you can just go by intervals, and as soon as you get more the feeling for the chord, as soon as you can maybe more trust your imagination, your ear, your feeling that you know, oh, that's a G minor sound, and I just you just go to the D because you know that sound. Then yeah, so your chord sound, your inner imagination of the chord sound takes over. So it's like a kind of a combination of thinking intervals, one note to the next, especially when there's coming a note which was new or which is like maybe out of the key a little bit. Then you better go by interval, and then but go for actually in the long run, go for the next sound of the next chord. Yeah. So when as soon as you have sung like G, B flat, D, B flat, G, la da di da, la da di da da, then you also can just wait a little bit and try to make a kind of a picture, a photo of that atmosphere, that sound, what you just sang, just this G minor. And then you go on with the next, and you can go higher, of course, but you can also always like low. You can go higher or lower. You can go both directions to any chord. That's whatever. So G, E, G, C, G, E, F, A, C, F, A, C, A, F, yeah, F major. F, A, C, A, F, E, G, B flat, D, G, E, E, A, C sharp, A, E, F, A, D, A, F. And then G minor, we can go up here, but you can also go down. D, G, B flat, G, D. Yeah, and you don't have to do it fast. Actually, you can just you can really try to have fun. Yeah, have fun, and really go into these beautiful sounds and listen for this voice leading thing. So you can also as soon as you have a certain chord, for example, the first E sang a chord, E, G, B flat, G, E. You can also just like sing a little bit with these notes, just a little bit around, like E, G, B flat, G, B flat, E, la da da, E, G, E. And then you think about voice leading. B flat, A, E, C sharp. Yeah, then you think voice leading, you go that movement. Basically, you just think these two, in this case, these two close position 3-note voicings or structures. And you can, and then you can think voice leading. You can think, okay, this note is going here. Ah, all right. So I will just do that. I will change between these two. I will change between these two arpeggios by going from one to the next on that voice. Yeah. E, G, B flat. May, E, C sharp, and I can go on with that to the next D, F, A, and I can go back D, F, A, F, D, and then sing the D major, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, but I can also D, F, A, F sharp, D, yeah, I can D, F, A, F, D, F, A, and then go back with F sharp, D. And more, and that's the fun part here, more and more, I will create a more melodic version of progressing through the different close position triad voicings or 3-note structure voicings. There are a lot of possibilities of how to proceed. For example, I go to the next D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, D, F sharp, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, to G minor, D, G, B flat, G, D, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, D, G, B flat, G, D. Yeah, I have my common tone here, and I have all this voice leading happening, and I can really go into the voice leading also by singing like just different arrangements, different in a different order. Just sing the different notes in a different order. You are here and you want to go there, but how you sing the different notes, it's really up to you. First, you just take these plain patterns which are written on the page, but then more and more you go off from that, and you try to find musical ways. More and more you go into a kind of a composing thing there. Of course, with these restrictions of these 3 notes. So, D, F sharp, A, B flat, G, D, or D, A, F sharp, D, B flat, G, or D, F sharp, A, F sharp, G, D, G, B flat, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's all like, try to make it really musical. Try to find different approaches, different ways how you can, in which order you can sing the notes, but really go for the musical, for the experience. Yeah, and once you do that, it also it will lead you very often to the next one, because to the next pattern or something. Because when you do that, for example, D, F sharp, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, sorry, one more time. D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, D, G, B flat, G, D. Okay, that's a normal pattern. Let's do another one. F sharp, D, F sharp, D, F sharp, A, G, D, G, B flat, G, E, G, C, A, M, A, C. Yeah, so I take the pattern and I just go on with that. But just as I'm doing, I feel that's not... Sometimes that just happens because you have a nice pattern and you want to go on with that. But don't restrict yourself. It's just like find musical ways, have fun, and also maybe also not do that in time. Yeah, don't think like, oh, one bar and then next bar and then half a bar just for this 2/5 there. No, really think like more rubato and just go through the progression. Let me do that one time that you hear what I mean and how it sounds. E, G, B flat, G, E, C sharp, E, G, E, C sharp. I'm using this diminished triad now. Yeah, I use different triads. They're all written down there, these alternate versions, and sometimes there are really occasions where you should actually use a different one, like with B flat 7, so B flat dominant 7s. The A flat wasn't shown before at any chord, so it's really like a new chord. So it's really characteristic, this A flat, this minor 7s for that chord. So don't take just a B flat major triad, because that is not anything new and will not really give you the color of that I mean the special color of that chord. So either you do like a D diminished triad or like a B flat dominant 7th without the 5th. So then you really have this A flat color, and you also have this tritone D A flat. So yeah, so best of course, most clear in this B flat dominant 7 without the root. This is the most clear sound, yeah? Because you have the root and you have the tritone, major 3rd and the minor 7th. So the F you can just omit, you can just avoid and still have this sound. Okay, so I will also use that chord, and you will and I will also demonstrate a little bit that the whole structure gets more and more loose. I try to have all my triad notes in a way, or that you really hear this progression, that I'm really base my what I do only on these triad notes, of course using also different triads and maybe also two different versions of one chord. Like for A7, dominant 7, I can use A and C sharp diminished, and A7 without the 5th. So it's all I can also use just doing like two of them at that spot after each other. So I will just, it will get more and more loose. Yeah, I'm less and less I will care about actually this framework. But you will hear that and you will understand. It's hard to describe. I mean, it's basically you stick with 3 notes per chord, and you want to make this chord progression very, very clear. And here you try also to be melodic and musical, in also with voice leading, with considering also voice leading. Okay, start again. E, G, B flat, G, E, E, M, C sharp, A, E, F, A, D, A, F, F sharp, A, D, A, F sharp, F sharp, A, C, A, F sharp, diminished triad, na, D, G, B flat, G, B flat, D, B flat, G, 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 B flat, D, E, C, E, C, E, C, G, F, A, C, A, F, E, G, B flat, E, E, G, B flat, G, E, C sharp, A, C sharp, E, C sharp, C sharp, E, G, E, C sharp, D, F, A, F, D, my B flat, G, D, 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 F, A flat, F, D, C sharp, E, A, E, C sharp, D, F, A, F, D, D, G, B, D, D, E, E, G, B flat, G, E, C sharp, E, A, E, C sharp, and from top, E, B flat, G, E, C sharp, A, G, F, A, D, F, A, F, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, A, F sharp, B flat, G, D, G, G, C, E, C, B flat, A, C, F, E, G, B flat, A, G, C sharp, A, G, C sharp, A, F, D, F, A, B, G, D, G, B flat, B flat, G, D, G, B flat, B flat, A flat, D, A, D, D, A flat, B flat, D, F, D, B, B, D, F, D, B flat. Oh man. B flat, D, F, A flat, A flat. Okay, I can sing. A flat, B flat, A flat, D, la di da, la di, A G, C sharp, C sharp, E, G, E, C sharp, D, F, A, F, D, B, D, F, D, B, D, B, B flat, D, B flat, A flat, A, C sharp, E, C sharp, A, C sharp, A, G, A, G, F, D, F, A, D, F. Okay, it's yeah, you can really also challenge yourself. Yeah, I had a little bit trouble now to really get this B flat dominant 7 sounds in my head, so I was a little bit searching around, try to find where's my root there. Yeah, that's what happens. So actually, that's the procedure. Yeah, to go through the progression more and more. You do not take these 4 patterns on the page so serious, and just find your own melodic ways and know where you are, and also on note names. Yeah, it's also important. Then you really also learn your fretboard, and you learn. Yeah, I mean it's a great exercise and a great idea to use the note names while singing. It might. Sometimes you might get like me here, sometimes a bit confused about like doing all this stuff at the same time, but it's a matter of practice actually. Okay, what this will lead to is that now you really you get more free with this whole melodic. With a melodic development in these 3-note structured arpeggios. Now you can go more and more into adding passing tones. For that, of course, you have to know the scales. Yeah, so you know that's okay. E Locrian, A harmonic minor fifth mode, D minor, Aeolian, D harmonic minor fifth mode, and so on. But these passing tones, these scale notes, they also come in the context of the music. Sometimes you just don't have to know anything about these scales. It just comes by itself, because between these there's just one note between the chord, between two chord tones, which is really like fitting in a way in the context of the tonality of the whole piece. So but it's good to know. It's good to know these scales, of course, to be able to that you actually really know what will sound right and what will sound wrong, so that also this knowledge thing can also help you to lead you through the whole progression. Okay, I tried to demonstrate what I mean. Maybe it's getting a bit confusing. Let's try. So. E, G, B flat, G, E, B flat, G, E, D, C sharp, E, A, D, C sharp, E, D, F, A, F, D, A, D, C, D, F sharp, D, C, D, F sharp, D, C, D, F sharp, D, C, B flat, D, G, D, G, A, B flat, A, G, D, G, D, G, F, E, D, C, B flat, A, C, A, F, C, C, B flat, D, B flat, D, E, D, B flat, A, C sharp, E, C sharp, E, G, A, C, A, G, C sharp, D, F, A, F, D, D, F, A, F, D, G, B flat, A, G, D, D, B flat, A flat, D, B flat, D, C sharp, E, G, A, G, G, A, G, F, A, F, D, F, G, B flat, G, F, B, not B flat, B, G, F, B, G, F, E, G, B flat, E, G, B flat, A, E, G, C sharp, E, A. Okay, I just ended this with like improvising with this idea, just to demonstrate what will happen if you go on with this exercise. And not, I don't mean like go on a daily or whatever basis, just for that session, for this ear training session. So you start by just sticking to these triads and these 4 patterns, or that just these 3 patterns where you don't take like a 4-note thing there, and you sing that in very strict, in a very strict way, going from one close position triad, voicing kind of, to the next, and then more and more you break that structure. Yeah, it will like you. I just have this idea of Escher. You know, this Escher, this picture where these paintings where something like lizards got into like a chess pattern and so on. This what is like always like mutating, so to speak, in something new, and that's actually what this exercise is really about. It's like opening doors after one another. So first, you just stick with these three notes with three-way close position. Yeah, you think of voicings, but you think them in these fixed arpeggiated forms, and you go through the progression. Then you loosen the whole thing a little bit. You do it more loose in a way that you don't always have to sing all the notes of the triad, or you can add notes like different octaves of notes, or sing them in different in different order, in different arpeggiated forms. And more and more you got into this more melodic thing. That is, it's more like you're creating a kind of melody at the spot, just going through the chords, the changes. And then more and more you add also passing tones. Yeah, you think more about the scale degrees. It comes all. It should actually come really naturally. You should not. You should not really force the whole thing. You should be really in the moment. You should have to have like you should have enjoy it and at every stage, and don't force yourself. I mean, and then when it feels right, you go more and more into this improvisation thing, and more you also can, at a certain time, you can just not say the note names anymore, because they might also tend to hold you back in a way, to get more to sing more in this melodic way and arpeggio. So your thinking is already quite occupied with just the task you have to deal with, and so the note names might hold you back there. So at a certain point, just skip them, and and invent like more and more this, but very like triad based thinking melodies. That's important. Yeah, you do not go into like other crazy stuff, although of course you can, but not. I mean, it's not my exercise then anymore. it's really you stick with this kind of a Bach sound. Yeah, with Johann Sebastian Bach. This kind of triads, maybe some seventh chords, but only if these seventh chords, you can make a triad by including the seventh. You know, I mean the different variations you have there. You know what I mean. You sing triads all the time, triads and scale, tonality, passing tones, in a very like natural diatonic way. Don't freak out and do like all kinds of alterations. That's not the sound. Okay. I play a little bit what is like kind of the last step of the whole thing, yeah, of this exercise. yeah, kind of that thing. Yeah, really like very much making the chords clear. There was some little like substitute syncing at the end when I was not really playing this E minor 7 flat 5, but more have this B flat dominant seventh. That's actually I would consider that as wrong in this case. Really stick to these chords, and really also like your ear get more and more into that. Yeah, and more also that's actually this kind of a progression. Yeah, you go by inspiration. Yeah, you do something and then you let your and suddenly your ear tells you, yeah, I know that, I feel that, but I want to have this passing tone there. This would be beautiful, and then you go for that. Yeah, you in a way you follow your inspiration. You start very very strict and very simple and straightforward, and then you break it more and more to a kind of a musical thing. And when you are at that point, what I just showed you, where you more improvise really, then you also feel like really like you hear that progression. You're really into that. Yeah, you can, in a way, you can really follow your ear and like think at the same time, and it's like one thing. You're thinking, your ear, your knowledge, your visual conception and everything. Okay, so that's a kind of an it was. I hope it's really helping you. It's maybe a little bit different concept I came up with here. So more like a concept which is like evolving, not like a very strict thing. You do that and that's it, and like some variations. It's really like more like a progression to real music. And this outcome, what I just played, actually, it's also like what I like very much. Yeah? Like this more simple diatonic way of playing, like progressions. This Johann Sebastian Bach style, you can say. This maybe more baroque, very very clear and in a way like tonal and clearly outlining chords and. I like that very much. So this exercise is, for me, it's really great because it leads me to that where I want to be in a way. Yeah. So it's a kind of step-by-step thing, and really take your time with that. And yeah. So I hope this was really also like helpful for you. I think you enjoyed this lesson. Otherwise, you would not watch this until now. This because it's a quite long lesson. Download the PDF, please. There you have it as a reference, and there might be also some things on it which I didn't talk in this lesson. You can also support my channel. Just go down the description below. There is a link to my website, Huub Hildenbrand, and the Guitar Academia page there. There's a button where you can donate. So this would be really cool to support this whole thing here, that it will go on, and I'm can share all these beautiful things with you. It would make me really really happy. I really enjoy this whole thing here with this YouTube and channeling my ideas and concepts and stuff with you. Okay, so that's it for the lesson. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to get notifications also when a new video will be released every week. That's the case. So yeah, that's it. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. My name is